Welcome to the Hey Soul Sista podcast, where Mel Histon will guide you through life's big questions and bring you one step closer to doing this crazy journey as best you can.
Hey Soul Sisters, today I've got the fabulous Yogi, author, speaker and creator of the Watch Your Language program, Meg Linton, here in the Hey Soul Sista studio with me. Hey Meg, how are you going?
Hey Mel, it's always a pleasure.
Love having you here.
Thank you.
And I have asked Meg to come along because I'm really keen to talk about meditation and then going on to how meditation and yoga work together, because I feel as though for many of us it's been a really stressful few years. It's funny, I didn't find the 2 COVID years especially stressful for myself, but I've really kind of struggled a bit this year. And many a woman, and I guess the women that we see at Got Your Back Sister, have been living with this underlying level of stress and anxiety with COVID, and then coming back into the real world again. Sorry, not the real world, the operating world again. And I've always been a big believer in using meditation to help find calm and peace and joy, to relieve stress and tension. And I'm certainly no expert whatsoever in meditation. I kind of just do my due with what I've learnt. But I really wanted Meg to come in and talk us through today. What is meditation? Get back to the basics. How do we do it? How does it impact us? Because I know some people are a bit scared of it. Do you find that, Meg?
Definitely. Even I'm still scared of it sometimes, 100%. And I just firstly want to acknowledge what you said before. I totally agree, and I've been in a similar boat. I found the COVID time, I quite enjoyed it, the space. I needed it at the time. But this year has been messy, right?
This year has been so messy. Oh my God.
Yep. As we mentioned before, there's like this underlying uncertainty that I think we're all feeling at a deep down level. We've kind of had things stripped away from us that we knew, and we're kind of finding a new way for ourselves, which is, it's uncomfortable. And one of the things I'm leaning into at the moment is the practice of titiksha. And titiksha is the ability to find cheerfulness in the discomfort, which I love. Yeah.
Titiksha?
Titiksha. Yeah, it's one of the 6 treasures, and it's just the Buddhism teachings, and it's just amazing. So when faced with discomfort, how can we do our best to find cheerfulness? Because it's happening anyway.
Okay, how do we do that?
I don't know, I'm still figuring it out.
I love you.
But it's a ride, right, isn't it? And we don't know, I think, the answer. None of us knows enough to be right or have the answer, yourself or myself included. And I think if we can be gentle with ourselves along the way and choose that kindness or compassion when things are difficult, the situation's happening anyway, so that the world's a mess at the moment anyway. Yeah. We're doing our best through it. And if we can soften to that, I think we can then possibly find an easier way through and be a bit more gentle and kind through the mess.
Yeah. Do you know what's funny? I first discovered meditation 13 years ago when I was going through breast cancer treatment. It was so weird. In the 1 week, I had 3 different people say to me, when they were asking about the breast cancer treatment, I had 3 different people say to me, you need to go and see this woman, Katia, who's a kinesiologist and also runs meditation classes. And I took that as a sign when I had 3 different people all say, you need to go see this woman. So I actually did. And that's when I first discovered meditation. And, I found it a bit confronting at first. And I remember saying to her, I can't get my mind to stop. I'm kind of just like drifting around and thinking crazy thoughts, and I don't know if I'm doing it right. She taught me a few different techniques and things, and for a long time then I kind of stopped doing it. But it's been Charlotta Tharup, my mindfulness guru, who has certainly, who's encouraged me to keep with the practice, the daily practice of meditation.
Yeah, and it definitely is. It's a practice, isn't it? What happens when we get busy? That starts to go. That we think, I don't have time to meditate, and then the mind, of course, starts to go. And it's, as I say, it's 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. And of course, when we stop to meditate, however that may be, because we've stopped, the thoughts are going to start to become really noisy. We start to experience, of course, the monkey mind.
Yeah.
And then, as what you mentioned before in our previous conversation, we started thinking, oh my God, what about dinner? What about the conversation I had with my boss? What about that email? Oh, fuck, what's going to happen like tomorrow when I've got to present this? The mind just goes crazy because we've stopped. But it's almost about letting it be. It's one thing that my yoga teacher taught me when I first did my yoga teacher training, because I struggled being still. You've read my book. I was on the go consistently, and stopping scared me because my thoughts would rise to the surface. And that's what happened. It got too noisy. So I would numb and run, however that was. And I got very good at doing that.
I think a lot of us can relate to that we keep running and doing.
It's easier to do something than to deal sometimes with the noise of our mind. And it's confronting, and it's really noisy up there sometimes. It's having a constant conversation with ourselves. If you've read The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, he talks a lot on that, and our body and our mind is talking to us all the time.
Yeah. And I love how he says that actually it's something like, 98% of the thoughts that we have in our head are absolute crap. Mm-hmm. And that if we were saying our thoughts to somebody else, you'd think you're a complete asshole.
Absolutely. It's like they're flashing above our head. We'd all just be like, none of us would go outside. Yeah. It would actually be quite hilarious for one day, wouldn't it? It'd be, oh my goodness.
Yeah. And if we spoke to ourselves, if we spoke to a friend the way we speak to ourselves, that friend would totally wipe you.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's so powerful, isn't it? It's very interesting, and it's observing the thoughts. And I think it's understanding, again, they're not us, we're experiencing them. And in meditation, we experience the thoughts. We notice them. You become the observer. So when we go to sit in meditation, for example, let's just say a 5-minute silent meditation, which is actually quite hard, things are going to come up. And they say to witness your thoughts like clouds. Sometimes it's super cloudy up there, but there's always this blue sky mind. There's always the clarity up there, but there might be so many clouds that day. Someday there might not be many, but it's just to observe them and notice them without judgment. Oh, I'm thinking that. Oh, wow, that's a really nasty thought. Oh, wow, did that just cross my mind? Like, to be curious, not critical, and to simply just notice, let it be and let it pass, and not try to quiet the mind with meditation, but just to sit in it when it's messy. Yeah. I always like to say, oh, fuck, it's really messy up there today. I just like to call it out. And just say, oh my God, I'm experiencing this. I'm experiencing anxiety today, or I'm thinking that, but that's nothing to do with me.
Want to save your soul? Review us on Apple Podcast.
So scientific research shows that meditation appears to have an amazing variety of neurological benefits. It can actually rewire our brain. Yeah. And I guess it's that whole, especially if we do it as a daily practice, it's what do they say? It's like your brain, it rewires and your new neural pathways will fire together. So rather than having the habit of having maybe stressed negative thoughts or whatever, that you actually train your brain to be calmer, to change your thoughts, and all the benefits that come with that, reducing stress, controlling anxiety, promoting our emotional health and increasing our self-awareness, and also slowing aging.
Definitely. It really does have so many benefits. And I think that for me was one of the longest and hardest journeys, but also the most rewarding, to look back on today and actually go, wow, that has actually changed. I still fall into moments, of course, and more often this year than not, where I'm tipped out of balance, and I'll go back to those old thought patterns and wiring, of shitty self-talk and whatever it might be, but I pick it up a lot quicker now. And it's like anything, it's like learning a skill. If we don't practice, repeat, and be consistent with it, then those old neural pathways, we're just going to be firing one of those same neurons. So when we're triggered in our environment, with whatever that might be, a person, environment, or, a situation, we're actually just going to go back to autopilot, because that synaptic connection and that cluster of neurons is so strong. And that's where I was for so many years. So I'd think I'd be good and whatnot, and something would happen and straight away I'd go back to that self-sabotage. And it is exactly that. It's about taking a breath. Even that's a meditation, right? For me, I've learnt to take a big, deep breath from the belly, rib cage to lungs, rib cage, belly. And most of us have that 5 or 4 seconds to do that. What that does is it pauses. It interrupts the pattern of reactivity. So we don't fire and wire the same neural pathways and neural networks of judgment or comparison, which is what mine was, or numbing and running when things get hard. And I was able to choose again. That choosing again path might be difficult. That's the discomfort, because it's new, it's different. And then every time you try to just take that breath and pause, you start to fire and wire new neurons. And that then creates a different cluster that when we're triggered in our environment, we actually choose more kindness or compassion or something towards our higher self.
Yeah. Now, I know that some people think that meditation is complicated, or you may have seen videos or movies where people are meditating and it looks foreign or like a religious thing or what have you. But actually, I guess, Meg, I'd like you to talk through with us what's an easy, basic way for us to start a meditation practice.
Oh, I love this question. I walked out of as you know, I'm a yoga teacher, yin and movement. I walked out of my first 4 yin classes because I couldn't be still. Now, yin is one of my most favorite things to teach now. I couldn't handle it. And yin's a form of meditation, of course. To answer your question, to bring something in, maybe we do something right now.
Okay.
If you're up for it.
I'm up for anything.
If you're driving, that's probably probably pull over or pause it and do this back. But this is just a breathwork technique. This is something that really helped me, and it's just also using a dialogue as we're breathing in. The one thing to incorporate into this is to think of your body like a balloon. So when we breathe in, we're literally breathing from the belly first, the rib cage and the lungs, which is going to stimulate our vagus nerve, which connects our gut and our brain to actually tell our nervous system we're safe. All right, so we're good?
Yep.
All right, so just taking a full breath in and a breath out. So we're going to inhale, expand the belly, inhale, expand the rib cage, and inhale, expand the lungs. Exhale, deflate the lungs. Deflate the rib cage and deflate the belly. Breathing in, belly, rib cage, lungs, and breathing out, lungs, rib cage, belly. I want you guys to continue with that breath, super slow, about 4 counts in and 4 counts out. And as you breathe, just recognizing that our breath is like a wave. It's just a moment in time. So it comes and then it goes. Some of those waves might be more uncomfortable than others. And some of them might be so pleasant and easy to ride. So a really nice way that you can bring yourself to a space of presence in a moment of discomfort is on your inhale. I want you to breathe in the words, I feel. So as you breathe in, just say to yourself, I feel, and that might be gratitude, it might be empowered, it might be safe. And on your exhale, breathe out the words, I choose to let go of, and let something go. We'll take about 3 more breaths just for today. So breathing in the words, I feel. And breathing out the words, I choose to let go of. And do that 2 more times. So fully in. And fully out. Do that 1 more time, breathing in how you feel. And breathing out, I choose to let go of and let something go. As taking a normal, natural breath for a moment or 2. And then when you feel ready, just open your eyes.
Well, I feel relaxed.
It's sometimes meditation doesn't have to be super difficult, but if we give ourselves a little bit of a task or something to repeat to ourselves, even the words, I know I'm breathing in and I know I'm breathing out, is such a good place to start. And if we are stuck in any patterns, just those two concepts of actually going, you know what, this is how I want to feel moving forward from this moment, because we always have a moment in front of us. What's done is done. What's coming up is out of our control, but what we can control is how we see it. So it can be a really, really nice one if we're, struggling any fear, doubt, worry, whatever it might be, to actually go, hang on a second. Maybe I could feel grateful for what's unfolded today, or what I've got in front of me, 2 feet and a heartbeat, whatever it might be, to just find that space. And that takes 2 to 3 minutes.
So research shows, as I said before, that meditation impacts the brain. It impacts our minds and our thoughts. How does it affect our heart? What's the heart-brain connection there?
Oh, so interesting. There's a quote from Michael Singer singing around in my head right now. What ends up in our mind as a thought stems from how we feel about ourselves in our heart. That hit home when I heard that, and it made me question how I was actually feeling in my heart space and how that was creating my own dialogue and thoughts. Does that make sense?
Say that line again, but his quote again.
What ends up in our mind as a thought stems from how we feel about ourselves in our heart.
Yeah.
So if we are sort of experiencing, I guess, that unworthiness or whatever it might be in our own heart, or lack of love, so to speak, that's going to vibrate. And so vibration, it's energy. Energy is energy in motion. Emotion, is energy in motion, right? Everything's moving. So that vibrates then up to our thoughts. And of course, that becomes our dialogue. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Totally.
Yeah, it really hit home. I remember that really well, because I was like, whoa. So hang on a second. If I start to fill myself love cup and I work on a bit more kindness and acceptance of myself and authenticity, is that going to have a knock-on effect on the mind? And for me, absolutely, it did.
Yeah. So it's interesting when I meditate, and it's something that I learnt to do. And again, I don't meditate. I should meditate every day, but I don't.
I don't either.
Okay. But when I do, I actually, I do the deep breathing and try and, well, I actually try and stop my thoughts, but you were saying don't stop your thoughts, just kind of observe your thoughts. But I actually then visualize my heart being a flower that's opening, and all the petals of my heart and love going throughout my body. And I get the most beautiful feeling in my heart. And it's just pure love and joy. And so that's something that I've learnt to do, is to do that visualization, and it really does lift my mood. Absolutely. And I know when I do it when I'm on holidays, I manage to find time to do that. I need it during the everyday working week. Yeah. But I find that, so if I start to think about something that may have possibly stressed me, but it doesn't worry me anymore, because, I have that beautiful glow, and it does change those thoughts. So that's interesting. I don't that you mentioned that quote from Michael, and I go, yeah, it's true.
It is fascinating. I love that you just mentioned a visualization meditation, because I think we're all different. One that also really just came to my mind then is from one of my movement teachers, and it's a standing meditation, which you fall over if you if you aren't present with it. And it's basically about just grounding your feet on the ground, and you start with your eyes open, but you start to work with eyes closed, and you just slightly tip forward, like into the toes with a straight body, and you'll feel you've got a grip on, and you'll feel your body tip out of balance forward. Then you come back to equilibrium, and you notice being still. Then you tip backward into the heels. And this is a 3-minute standing meditation. That for me was a great start. But the visualization too, that was a huge one. And a yoga nidra meditation is also really lovely for that too. That's a really lovely way to start, of actually moving through your body and having gratitude for every single part of your body, like literally seeing it with like golden light or love or compassion. That for me was a really big one, because I had so many body image struggles. So I would have to go through this meditation and see my belly with love and light, and it was a golden light for me.
That's just beautiful. How could you not have a lovely, how could that not change your mood and have lovely thoughts when you are consciously doing a meditation and thinking kindly about yourself and your body?
Yeah, it's like, why not? All I did was I gave myself that 20 minutes and I'm like, I'm just going to choose in this moment. Because after that, obviously was still struggling at the time, but that 20 minutes, I was like, I'm going to receive. And that's it. You make a commitment to yourself to give back. And a yoga nidra is just a beautiful way to find space. You mentioned before about the thoughts. For me, that one, my thoughts quieten really, really quick because we're actually focusing on the body and the arm and the finger and the knee and the hip and the lower back. So you quieten your mind by the time you finish and you feel so rested, and that would be a great place to start.
Let's get soulful on social media. Search the Sister Code Facebook page and follow us on Instagram.
So tell me about what's the connection between meditation and yoga. I kind of tried yoga a few years ago. I did some yin yoga. I did enjoy the yin yoga. I stopped going because I found it really hard to get a car park. Which I know that sounds really flippant.
She walks into yin really angry and mad.
Well, bloody hell, I've been driving around for half an hour looking for a car park. Oh, my God.
Ready to throw the yoga block at the teacher. Yeah, I know the ones.
Yeah, but tell me about the connection between meditation and yoga.
Yeah, let's talk on yin, because obviously there's yang yoga and flow. As you know, I love to move that way, but the yin saved my life in so many ways.
Wow.
It really did. I'm very, very grateful. It taught me to pause. It taught me to be still because I was on the go so much. And what it did was help settle my nervous system. So our nervous system is everything. If we, like I was for 3 decades, living in my spinal sympathetic system, I'm constantly reactive, right? My body was real. I had traps up to my ears nearly. They were so elevated from stress and tension. And then you add in things like phones these days and devices. So we're kind of always using them. And what you mentioned before too, there's this kind of underlying unsettling feeling at the moment where it's hard to relax into the unknown, as we know. So yin really helped me soften and pause and stop.
So I think a lot of people think of yoga as potentially being quite strenuous at times, and we hear of hot power yoga, which I've never tried. I'm kind of scared of it. So tell us about yin yoga and how that differs from the yang and the hot power yoga.
It's like, how do I describe it? It's like a big warm hug. It's not a restorative class, but you come into the class and you get your equipment, bolsters, block straps, all the things, blankets, and you are basically holding a pose, a shape, passively for anywhere between 3 and 10 minutes. What this does is it helps the connected tissue and fascia, which has nothing to do with the muscles, to actually let go of their grip around the joints. So it's a practice for the joints. It's amazing. So as you know, I move a lot by choice and I love it, but I also do yin yoga every night before bed because of that reason. Otherwise I'm going to break. Otherwise everything's going to get really, really tight. But when we allow the breath to move through the body in yin, again, we're sending a neural message from our brain to our body to say, wow, you're safe. It's okay. You can let go of your grip. So we start to not only find space within the joints, but the nervous system has an opportunity to return from spinal sympathetic, fight, flight, which we need, but we can't live there, right? Back to what's called our ventral vagal circuit, which is safety and it's social connection. And it's our place of equilibrium and presence. And of course, when we're present, we can make a choice.
Yeah. So when you're holding a yin yoga pose, are you meditating at the same time?
You're either meditating or just swearing your head off at the instructor for holding it for about 5 minutes and thinking, how long is she going to fucking keep us in this pose for?
So I like that you're going to go one way or the other.
100%. So it's very interesting. You may find in, say, your first yin yoga practice that you'll get in there and you'll sit in a pose and the teacher, may or may not talk. And I was one of those. I would look up, I would fidget, I would get really angry because it was uncomfortable. I didn't like being uncomfortable. So that's the practice of it. You very much drop into a shape which may or may not be nice. Some of them are very challenging. Some of them are beautiful for the body. And you sit and stay. So it teaches you to be with the noise. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
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 And you just got to sit in it.
I didn't like the frog pose.
I still don't like the frog pose. But it does change. It's interesting over time. You'll notice that as we evolve and change, as we always are, some poses that you might not have liked a year ago change.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful for the body.
I do remember some beautiful poses, and holding them for 10 minutes, but actually lying there and feeling such peace, but also having memories pop up of memories of happy times, which I found interesting.
You mentioned before about it being a meditation, and it's a roller coaster ride. Some days, depending on where we're at in our day, if we are feeling any anxiety or stress or whatever, you may walk into a yin yoga class and all those thoughts are going to come up because maybe we've been too busy to deal with them through our day. So again, I talk on the book a fair bit about trying to be in the moment with things that arise, emotions. If we push them down and suppress them, they're only going to come up when we get quiet. Like before we go to bed, when we sleep, they all rise to the surface. The same's in a yin class. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if we've had a day like that, absolutely they'll come up. So yin it's an inner practice. It's very emotional. There's a lot of tears sometimes, especially in any hip work, because our hips are located around our sacral chakra, which is emotions. And when we work in the hips, things come to the surface. It's like, why did I cry in a yin class? I'm like, that's good. You're getting energy out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meg, thank you so much for coming into Hey Soul Sista and sharing that with us. And again, I was really keen to have that conversation around meditation, and for anybody, because I know a lot of people, are fearful around it, or they kind of dismiss it and think that it's all too hard and they don't know what to do and they can't quiet their mind. But I love that you've come in and just showed us a really simple way that we can do that.
Thank you. It's something I'm so passionate about, and just think when you go in there, it's like what you mentioned before. If we try to force our mind to be still, we're only creating more tension.
Yeah.
Tension only creates more tension. So surrender to it, soften to it, and just notice, oh wow, my mind's really freaking messy today. And trying that approach of just like, oh, okay, cool, I'm noticing this, rather than trying to fix it or change it. It actually then makes the practice a lot easier, and you finish your 5 minutes and go, wow, I sat through that and it was a mess, but I did it. And over time it starts to soften.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, my friend. Now, where can people find you?
Perfect. Best place at the moment on Instagram. So watch.ya.language. And I have quite a few yin yoga. I've got probably about 130 videos now on my YouTube channel, which is a mixture of meditation, yin, movement, and also flow yoga.
Okay. Thank you. And that's under Meg Linton?
It is. That's under my name.
Meg Linton on YouTube. Thank you so much, Soul Sister.
Thank you.
Love having you on.
Likewise.
Thanks for listening to Hey Soul Sista with Mel Histon. What would help you on your crazy life journey? Email Melissa at thesistercode.com.